What's up, guys? So last time we were talking about a potential Nintendo Direct in the near future. There's a lot of rumors and evidence pointing to this potentially happening, possibly on August 28th, or at least at some point here in late August, early September. Over on Twitter, @SupTheGamer wrote me, about August 28th. It could be the date for Japan for the Direct, because Japan's times are a day ahead of everyone in the world. The actual Direct date could be August 27th, 8/27, but it might not even be a general, might be a mini, because a host is required for a full Direct. So that is true, Japan is ahead of the rest of the world time zone-wise, so it's possible if a August 28th Direct is happening, it might be August 28th in Japan, and the rest of us might get it on the 27th or something. Whether this rumored Direct will be a full-blown general Nintendo Direct or a Nintendo Direct Mini, I have no idea, but they do make a good point here about how general Nintendo Directs usually have a host, and obviously with coronavirus and everything going on, that might be more difficult right now. With that August 27th date in mind, over on Twitter, @Ernesto Cortez wrote me, the trailer of the first campaign DLC of Doom Eternal is coming out August 27th. Do you think it is related to the rumor of Nintendo Direct August 28th? Also the M theory. So that's pretty interesting. We have a Doom DLC campaign scheduled to show off a trailer on August 27th, and we have rumors of a Nintendo Direct possibly happening right around that same time. Doom, of course, is an M-rated series, and we have M-theory pointing to a possible future DLC character coming from an M-rated game. Doom Guy, of course, has been speculated for a long time. We have the whole Kako Malo leak thing, however you feel about that one. So yeah, it's possible that if this Doom DLC trailer is showing up on August 27th, maybe our Nintendo Direct is happening that same time, and maybe it would be a good time to reveal Doom Guy for Smash if that is happening. And we do have some other good evidence pointing to a possible Nintendo Direct happening very soon. Over on Twitter, @NintenLeaks wrote, Prince of Persia Remake for Nintendo Switch and PS4 has been listed and is on pre-sale by the Guatemalan retailer Max, with an estimated delivery date of November 2020. So a listing for a Prince of Persia remake possibly coming to Switch has shown up, and that usually happens before we get a Nintendo Direct. We start seeing games show up on retailers before they've been announced. Last time I was talking about how Wario64 was reporting about a Skyward Sword Switch listing on Amazon's UK page, so once again, this is another game being listed on one of those retailers and could point to a possible Nintendo Direct happening soon and getting those games actually revealed. And Skyward Sword coming to Switch isn't the only Zelda game to have an interesting listing show up online recently. Nintendo Soup reported, rumor, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 Collector's Edition listed by a French retailer. So could we finally get some Breath of the Wild 2 information, possibly at some upcoming Nintendo Direct, where they'd show off this Collector's Edition? I will say this one might be a little suspect, as Nintendo Soup later reported that The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 Collector's Edition listing has been removed, and in place of it is a Metroid Prime 4 listing that says it's going to have a release date of October 30th, which seems extremely unlikely, as that is probably way too soon for Metroid Prime 4, and it's also the release date of Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Regardless of how legitimate those last two are, usually when online retailers start having strange listings for things that have yet to be announced for us, that often points to a Direct or something happening in the very near future that will actually announce some of those things. There's also something else pretty interesting right now that could line up with a rumored game that might get announced in some future Nintendo Direct soon. There's a new officially licensed Switch controller coming out from Hori, and over on Twitter, @CartridgeGames wrote, is that a new Peach's Castle? And if you look closely, the render of Peach's Castle on the controller is one we've never seen before. However, it is very similar to Peach's Castle in Mario 64. It was also compared to some of the more recent versions of Peach's Castle, and I will say the Mario 64 Peach's Castle is the one it looks the closest to. We, of course, have had rumors of a Mario 3D collection or some sort of remasters for 3D Mario games featuring Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, and Super Mario 64. So could this controller be further evidence of that actually happening? Maybe that Peach's Castle is the render for the Super Mario 64 Switch remaster or whatever it is we're getting. If we do get some sort of Nintendo Direct soon here, I would suspect that that 3D Mario game collection, or separate remasters, however they do it, will actually get announced there, so it's very likely that if this controller is some new Peach's Castle render, maybe that's coming from this collection or remasters, whatever it is, and that is actually what Peach's Castle is going to look like in the Super Mario 64 for Switch version. That Hori controller isn't the only new Mario product to show up. Over on Twitter, @GoNintendo tweet wrote, UHU releasing Super Mario adhesive products. This might be one of the strangest Mario products I've ever seen, Mario-themed adhesives. Why not? Also over on Twitter, Jeff Grubb was asked, the 27th is the earliest day for the Nintendo wildcard. Is there a latest day for that? And Jeff Grubb responded, the week ending September 18th. I still think Nintendo tips are difficult to parse because it could sneak in a partner showcase, but I'm expecting at least a Direct Mini, but possibly a General by the middle of September, and it could happen as early as next week. Jeff also went on to say, I think it's very likely Nintendo is having something that day, and if it's not a Direct, one will follow soon after. So it seems whether or not the 27th or 28th is the exact date for a Nintendo Direct, it still seems very likely one will happen in the near future here. Alright, so let's talk Super Smash Bros. Stuff. So this is something I already knew about, but a lot of people have been asking me about it, and I think it's because the leaderboard got attention recently. Over on Twitter, @MJ10 wrote, Japan has a whole game mode in Ultimate that we don't have, and I see nobody talking about it ever. They have these qualifiers where you play a certain rule set and climb a leaderboard. Top 10 advance to the finals. And here's what the leaderboard looks like for it. So yeah, Japan has this mode that we don't have in other parts of the world. At least not yet. Over on Twitter, @PushDustin wrote, official tourney qualifiers English translation. And there you can see an image of that mode with an English translation. PushDustin went on to write, since it has an English menu translation, it'll probably come to the West at some point. So there you go, at some point we might get that mode added to the non-Japanese versions of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So now let's talk specifically Smash character speculation. So there was a bit of a Dante scare recently coming from Nate Drake over on Reset Era. Over on my Discord, Warpig wrote, there seems to be confusion regarding the Nate Drake pizza situation. Image 1, and the first image is Nate Drake responding to Rain 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 saying, Direct soon? Finally. Man, I can't wait for the 7th Smash DLC character. This one's gonna be a big one with a winking face. And Nate Drake said, it may make you cry. Which of course most people took to be a Devil May Cry reference. Warpig said, Nate Drake actually explaining that Fighter Pass 7 might make people cry. There's a chance he actually knows who it is. This was likely to play onto image 2, so take image 1 with a grain of salt. So the second image says pizza is yummy, which once again may be a reference to Dante from Devil May Cry. However, this post has some hidden content, and it says, it's not a real tease. I want to see the lurker insiders steal the info and claim they heard the same, thus exposing them. Don't acknowledge the hidden content. Because of that, I was actually pretty hesitant to even talk about this one, as it seems to just be baiting. However, people were asking my opinion of it, so yeah, I wanted to weigh in. Warpig went on to say, he teased people with saying pizza is yummy, but used it as bait to get people who lurk and leak to expose them for claiming information via piggybacking and actually not knowing anything. Initially, without the spoiler text, people assumed it was Dante because of May Cry and pizza reference. Now we know he did that to bait. So likely that's all this one was, just teasing and baiting people out. However, I will say Dante from Devil May Cry is still a pretty likely character for this Fighter's Pass. Whether or not Dante shows up as the next fighter, I have absolutely no idea, but I do think Dante is fairly likely for this second Fighter's Pass at some point. Speaking of fairly likely characters for Smash, this was taken from the Crash Era Discord. It's an image that Sakurai put out of Daisy riding on top of Lucario, and it could in fact be a reference to this Crash Twinsanity image. Nice Humiliscate reference, Daisy is even the right color to help to illustrate. Thanks Ski Kicks for pointing it out. And now let's talk some tinfoil hat Geno theories, because I'm always into those. Walmart Canada's Twitter often references Super Mario RPG and Geno for Smash specifically, however I think whoever's running that Twitter account is simply a fan. Also over on Twitter, @JetZXV wrote me this, came up with an insane 7-7 theory that I needed to share. It's posted as a comment on the video, but I figured I'd post a screen grab of it here if people can't find it in the comment section. I'm aware that it's absurd and tinfoil wrapped, but the timing does line up. Thoughts? So I'm just going to summarize this one, and it is very out there, but basically this is 7-7 theory again, the whole thing that Geno might get revealed on July 7th. Obviously we're far past July 7th, however, they're thinking it's possible maybe Sakurai recorded the presentation for Geno on July 7th. The next Challenger Pack is Challenger Pack 7, and it's for Fighter 77, and obviously Geno is from Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, so we had that whole tinfoil hat 7 theory stuff. Sakurai does record his Sakurai Presents videos in advance and has sometimes referenced what date it is when he's recording it, so it's possible he could say something about the Star Festival and it being 7-7 for Challenger Pack 7 for Fighter 77. That could actually keep 7-7 theory alive. I wrote, ooh, interesting. A little out there, but if Sakurai said, I'm actually filming this on 7-7, the Star Festival date in Japan, or something, the whole 7-7 date could still be relevant. Hadn't thought of that. Reaching theory for sure, but we will see if something like that happens. So this one's about as out there as you can get, but I did think it was kind of interesting, and of course I'm a fan of Geno, so that would be pretty cool. Also over on Twitter, @CacoMello wrote, me and my group of friends were discussing about the creator of Geno, which we weren't able to get a proper answer on. However, @FlowerXPath244 and I have politely asked Kazuyuki Kurashima about Geno and Mallo's creation, and we finally know that Geno was created by Hideo Manaba. So that's pretty cool. If their information is correct, we now know the designer and creator of Geno. And now I'm just going to briefly go over a couple of glitches that people have sent me. Over on Twitter, @DatBabyGamer wrote, hey PapaGenos, a new glitch has been found in 8.0.1. When my friends and I were playing together, I was the Donkey Kong and his model glitched out here. Rillaboom confirmed? They left a short video, and Donkey Kong does sort of glitch out a little bit, and of course Donkey Kong would make a great base for Rillaboom. I don't know if this really confirms anything like that, but it's an interesting glitch nonetheless. @DragoGames1 wrote me, hello, you will probably not see this, but I found an interesting glitch. If you use Squirtle's water gun on Dedede while he is rising with his up, he will fall slowly but with the same amount of momentum. I personally think it's just a neat glitch. So possibly something was messed around with Dedede's falling momentum or the water physics in Smash itself. And then finally, hey, there's a new glitch in Smash Bros. That Morgana disappears in Joker's taunts. I'm not totally certain what that one could point to. Maybe another character with some sort of sidekick in their taunts, sort of like Morgana, or the slime in Hero's taunts. A few videos ago, I was talking about getting extra content in the form of Echo Fighters or something in Smash Ultimate, and @Waluigi wrote me this. So I just found something interesting to add to the idea that we could get 4 extra fighters to complete stage character select squares. In Smash Tags, there's currently 8 slots open, 10 per row. Usually a new character gets 2 icons, so the 5 remaining characters would essentially just create another row, still leaving 8 open slots to finish the last row. 4 extra fighters with 2 icons per fighter would complete the row. So Smash hasn't historically cared too much about completing rows of things or having perfectly squared off character select screens or stage select screens and things like that, but it is interesting to speculate about. Actually, on that note, over in the comment section, Scored wrote, make sure to say the character select screen will be a rectangle and not a perfect square in the future, because saying perfect square sounds a bit disingenuous and lenient to the theory. I wrote back, I guess perfectly squared off, as in 4 sides and corners, is probably what I meant. So yeah, when I'm usually talking about this idea, if I say it's a perfect square, I don't actually mean it's a perfect square, I know it's a rectangle, but I mean it's perfectly squared off. Alright guys, well that's everything I want to talk about in this video. If you guys have any thoughts or comments, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.